Hey, it's me, MLB. Here is Pool Chapter 38, and this one is titled Canoodling. You rolled over to face him, the faint moonlight that was shining in around the sides of the curtains, just catching his tired eyes in its light. His gaze was calm and steady as you looked bashfully back at him, little butterflies playing in your stomach. Hesitantly, you slid your hand forward along the bedsheets, looking for his hand, and gingerly toyed with his fingertips when you found it. It's nice to know we're on the same page, you whispered, patting the tip of his finger with yours. He reached that hand out and encased yours with it, sliding his palm up your wrist to mid-arm and gripping before pulling your body over and on top of his. "Aizawa!" you gasped as he wrapped his arms around your back and hugged your body down against his. "I'll do my best to not appear to be ignoring you," he said in a low voice, his chest vibrating with the tone and making it reverberate into your core. "Same here," you replied with a smile, resting your head down into the crook of his neck and inhaling deeply, not caring that his messy, mid-length hair was getting in the way and getting sucked up your nostrils a bit. Aizawa placed a hand on the back of your head and squeezed you a little before letting go and rolling your body off his, but keeping you by his side. "Apologies, Yin," he said in a low voice. "I need to be careful, otherwise I might lose control." "Is that such a bad thing?" he replied with a cheeky giggle as he rolled away from him, but then reversed back into his side. Instinctively he rolled to face your back, his arm wrapping around your middle and pulling you into him as his nose and lips pressed into the nape of your neck. "I don't want you to think that I'm here for only one thing," he whispered raspily against your skin, causing your upper half to break out in goosebumps while a fire ignited in your core. "You don't really strike me as the type to be only after one thing," you replied softly. "You're too responsible." While you were replying him, he parted his lips and kissed into the back of your neck, making you roll your eyes erotically. "I'm only responsible when it comes to activities outside the bedroom." "Oh my god, that was a line?" your brain screamed at you. "Tomorrow's going to be a good day, so I must refrain from doing anything that could deplete my energy," he said, giving you one last kiss on your soft skin before letting go of you and rolling away. It was only then that you realised that you'd been holding your breath for the last few seconds, and you let it go silently, your heart banging against the inside of your ribcage, begging you to roll over and demand Aizawa take you. "He's right, it's going to be another big day tomorrow, and I need to be a little more involved, so I should sleep too." Despite being right beside your crush, you fell right to sleep again. It was some unholy hour of the morning that you woke with a start and sat up. Aizawa was still fast asleep beside you, and you reached out over the side of the bed and pushed the curtains back a little to see outside. "What time is it? It looks like morning." Silently you slipped out from between the sheets and grabbed your phone, checking the time on the screen. 5:03? You were about to get back into bed, but then wondered if you should start the day with a lovely hot springs bath. After all, I didn't get a proper relaxing one the other time because it was storming, you thought. Creeping to your bag, you pulled out some clothes and then snuck to the bathroom and grabbed some things from there too. Making your way to the front door, you were about to leave when you heard Aizawa call your name. "Where are you going?" he asked from the bed. "Oh," you replied softly, walking back to the room. "Sorry, I didn't want to wake you. I was going to go to the hot springs because I didn't have a proper relaxing bath last time because of the storm." "I have yet to relax in the hot springs," Aizawa said as he pushed the covers back and sat up. "Would you mind if I joined you?" "Would I mind if you joined me? Is that even a question?" you thought. "Sure," he replied calmly, trying not to act too keen. He rubbed his eyes and dragged his hands through his matted hair, pulling it back off his face as he hung his head back and slipped his hands to his neck and shoulders, rolling his head from side to side to stretch his neck. "You go on ahead. I'll be there soon," he said, getting up and stretching his back. "Okay," you replied, waiting until you had turned away before grinning from ear to ear and floating out the door. Heat. You sank lower into the beautifully warm water, slinking right down until the water was just below your earlobes. All was quiet, and you wondered when the students would be up. They'll probably still be up to it until 7 a.m. Plenty of time to relax. A noise inside the bathhouse behind you alerted you to the presence of another human, and you looked back over to see the shadowy figure of Aizawa inside as he prepared to come out to the hot bath. You smiled to yourself and rested back again, pretending like you weren't ridiculously excited that he had decided to join you. "How is it?" he asked as he walked into the water, with towel hanging low around his hips, his V-line very visible, along with his perfect set of abdominal muscles. "It's so good," you sighed happily, closing both eyes once you'd oogled him enough. He stepped down into the water and sat down beside you, his thick thigh touching one of yours. "Sorry, I'm too close." "No, it's fine," you replied quickly, making sure to keep yourself pressed to his side. He nodded and undid the towel under the water, pulling it off and setting it up on the rocks, the wet sound of fabric slapping to the earth making you grin internally. All was quiet as he slunk down beside you a little, his hip touching yours now. "All the students are fast asleep. I assume that they will be until 7 a.m, he stated. "I thought the same thing." You looked up at him, rolling your head to the side a little. He turned his head and looked down at you, holding your gaze for a second. Boldly, you leaned your head across to his arm and pressed your lips to it gently, still maintaining eye contact. And there ends chapter 38, very similar to the other chapter with the adult scene. I will be skipping the next few, as you can imagine it gets pretty heated pretty quickly. So the next chapter will start after they have gotten out of the hot springs tub and have put their professional hats back on.